Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Carol Mitchell, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Eboni-Rose Thompson. Welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
Thanks for joining us. Before we talk about your 2024 re-election campaign to continue representing Ward 7 on the DC State Board of Education, please tell viewers a little about your background and who you are.
Yeah, so if we've not met, my name is Eboni-Rose Thompson. I'm really proud to be a fifth generation Washingtonian. I essentially grew up in the neighborhood that I represent now, which is Fort DuPont in Ward 7. I'm someone who does not at all think of where I live as a place of last resort. It's a place of choice for me. And my thing is really about making sure that every single opportunity that I had as a kid, plus all the opportunities I didn't have, are made possible for every single one of our kids. The way I think about education is really kind of like shaped by my mom. She is a DC Public Schools retired teacher, but before she was a teacher, she actually was an electrician. And she's a class of 80 graduate of Eastern Senior High School. And so what I learned from her is that like there's not like lesser paths. We really just need to be able to prepare all of our kids for whatever future they want to have. And the future changes and their vision from the future can change. And that's really kind of how I think about education, and gives you a sense of a little bit of who I am and what I care about.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, please tell our viewers about the position for which you are running
Mhm.
and why you want to be re-elected to it.
So I am running to represent Ward 7 or continue representing Ward 7 on the State Board of Education. Why am I running again? Because while we've done really good work as the board, our work isn't done. We have been able to do things like pass the first ever financial literacy standards. We've been able to do literacy recommendations for the entire city. And we want to be able to do more good work. I want to be able to do more good work representing my home of Ward 7. It's really important to me to make sure we continue on a path that starts to make sure we have just even greater programs, especially in Ward 7, community schools, and continuing to fight for community schools with wraparound services is really important to me. And that's a forever fight. That's something you go back year after year. And I've had to go back year after year to fight for. So I'm here running for reelection again. And then we've also done some really good work around safety, both like traffic safety, and then just when it comes to safety in and around schools. But again, that work is continuing. And I'm not someone who believes our work is done. So I'm doing the work to be reelected to the state board in November.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing on that. And you've touched on a couple of the things that are important to you, but what are your three top issues?
So I think the biggest three things for me are making sure we improve outcomes for all students, especially special education students. I want to make sure that we do a better job with pathways. I mentioned how I think about education and my mom. And so right now, we have a lot of programs that kind of push kids in one direction. And when I think about the future, we need kids not just like prepare for all types of futures, but prepare for a future we don't know to exist yet. And so I'm really big on making sure we continue to have college pathways because those are the things that have allowed me to be able to make an income so I can stay in DC. And I do want people to be able to stay in DC and thrive in DC. I'm really big on making sure we're supporting kids who want to be entrepreneurs and kids who want to go into vocational or career and technical education, like my mom. And making sure that all of those pathways, whether you want to be an electrician or a plumber or I don't know, the next influencer, that you have the skills you need to live the life of your dreams. And then finally, I want to continue making sure that all of our schools are high quality in every neighborhood in Ward 7, which is a lot about like funding. It's a lot about supporting our schools, supporting our teachers, making sure We're pushing for things like teacher retention, and just making sure every school is a high quality experience, whether it's the building or the programs or the people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. And I'm sure that our viewers will be very, very interested in following up and learning more about that. Now, another thing that they would want to know is why you are the best choice for voters. So please
Mhm.
let our viewers know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm the best choice for voters because I'm committed to Ward 7. I didn't just like show up and say, oh, I want to run for office, and so I'm going to get to know my community. I'm someone who not only is like a daughter of Ward 7, but works really hard to understand like all the levers I can possibly pull to make change, not only before running for office, but while in office. I'm really proud to have served as the president of the board for the last 2 years and the vice president before that, and be able to do work that's also made the board better. And what do I mean when I say that? Making sure that voice is not, like people say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, or if you're not at the table, bring a chair. I think we have a responsibility as elected officials to really expand the table. And so in addition to things that I can tick off that I've done around like, advocating for dollars in the budget around special education or at-risk funding or modernized schools, I can also say I've really worked to make sure the board is a place that welcomes more voices, whether that's expanding the number of student reps we have from 2 reps when I first started to 4, to now having a student advisory committee that has 80 different voices of students from around the city, which actually like they don't just like get a vote, but they weigh in on every single policy we pass. And I think I do very much take my, I guess, title as representative as both my title and my job description. And I think that's what you want from anybody in elected office. It's not just about me, it's about we. It's about my ability, not just to go out and say, hey, here's what my people want, but doing the work to bring people along with me. That's been really important to me. And I think we have more work to do. And so I am the only person that's running that is actually an experienced policymaker. I have tangible wins for Ward 7. And Ward 7 is very much my home. And so you kind of can't fake love. And for me, this work is definitely like a labor of love. And I'm hoping that people will trust me with their votes to be able to keep doing that work for Ward 7 and for the rest of the city.
Yeah, I mean, those are some really great points, and our viewers, I'm sure, have a lot to think about now. So, as they're making these decisions and deciding about voting, can you give them some information about when voting begins?
Yes. So here's the great thing about DC. And I'm really proud to say this as someone who works to like revise our social studies standards and know about the struggle that is civics and the struggle that is voting rights in our country. So the great thing about DC is we have so many places to vote, and we make it very accessible. So if you are registered to vote, and I repeat, please register to vote. If you are registered to vote, we will mail you a ballot to your house. You have options with that ballot. If you're the kind of person like me, who in their heart of hearts is an introvert and doesn't want to talk to anybody when you go vote, you can drop it off at a Dropbox. That's one option. Option 2, you can mail it back. If you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be around when the drop boxes are open, Eboni-Rose, that's option 2. Option 3, you can vote in person. And so early voting will start, I believe, October 15th. The drop box is open. October 28th, I believe, is the first day to vote in person. And the last day to vote, even though we call it election day, that's just when we find out the results. The last day to vote in person or at a drop box is November 5th. So please take advantage of all the different ways we allow people to vote, and do vote between October 15th and November 5th. Last friendly reminder is if you did not listen to me about registering to vote now, you can register to vote on site. And so please Check out Board of Elections for all your options because we do make it easy in DC. And this is a very, very important election year.
Thank you so much for all that important information, Eboni-Rose. Viewers, please take note of all those dates and those deadlines so that you are able to vote in these upcoming elections. Now, please tell our viewers how they can learn more about you and how they can support your campaign as well as learn more and volunteer.
Yeah, and so one of the beautiful things that my mom did, she made my name really easy. I stand out. And so I remind folks my first name is Eboni-Rose. My last name is Thompson. I'm super Googleable, if that's the word. But if you're not like the person who wants to Google me, you can go straight to our website. It is ebonirose47.com. That's EBONIROSEFOR, the number 7.com. I'm also on social media at Instagram and Twitter at Eboni_Rose T. And you can reach out to us by email, info@ebonirose47.com. So I would love if you stay in contact with me. I look forward to hearing from you. And please, if you have questions, ask. I wouldn't be an education person if I didn't encourage folks to ask questions, get answers, and do their research.
Great, thank you so much. So viewers, I hope you caught all of that. And if not, you can please look in the description below for links. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Eboni-Rose.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's always fun being here with you all.
Okay.
Thank you. To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media. And click around our YouTube channel and check out our other videos, vlogs, interviews, and more. And while you're there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And viewers, thank you for watching.